You are live. So the self-help order, we business would be the approval of minutes. Make the motion to accept the minutes. Hearing, go, all in favor by saying aye. All for that sign. Well. Still got one line, you put over. That's what I'm saying, correct? I got, what I got was the working ordinance, the whole thing. That's what you sent me. I didn't get an ordinance whereas and all that. I got a full working ordinance that I've already had. We're moving out then. So I would have said something to you, but it was already after 4 o'clock or so when I noticed it. Almost 5.
Anyway, yeah, if I understand what you guys were saying was, we've already got the definition of bed and breakfast, everything we need. It's not going to change anything except sort of an alert to people who are looking for. The schedule of uses, add that one line.
I'll set a public hearing for our next meeting. Next regular meeting, we'll have a public hearing and then just go from there. Yeah. I'll get it advertised so it'll be available. And so really, that's all we need to do is just that one line in the appendix, right? Okay. All right. Now, do I need to, is that one of those that I just have to underline everything and then put the whole thing in brackets, even though it's in frame? Or how do you do that?
Well, excellent point. You're not deleting anything, so you're just going to underline. You're just going to underline the short-term rentals.
Okay.
See,
Okay, that's all I need to do.
we're just adding one.
There's no deletion. Okay. No, so I will make it happen. Next time, is that anything we need over that? Next time, visions will be, we have the public hearing on that, then we can do more on that. So we're doing that. Comprehensive plan review, John sent us out the PDF of the comprehensive plan. If you go to review the objectives from that, or anything you see, anything look out that needs to be modified, updated, changed. I don't recall seeing anything that I don't know why. Oh, everything has changed in that direction. Do we need to set anything like a public hearing or anything for an update? And just
Now, if you don't have a public hearing, you just have to review it every 5 years. Just so, yeah, we need a record that we have used it.
you and I need to go through and just kind of take a peek at it together, make sure there's nothing there that we don't catch.
Probably wouldn't hurt. You know, that comprehensive plan is such a broad stroke.
Right.
And about, honestly, 95% reciting research. Here's what we see. The only thing really that predicts future, predicts or attempts to direct future behavior is that future uses or what's it? Is that what
Future
it's called?
land use.
The directive. And of course, the history is the history. If nothing significant has happened in the past 5 years, the research, then obviously, then we may well not need to go back and do more research over what's happened in the past 5 years. But you know, as much as anything, it's hard to keep a pain in, hard to keep a bit in the mouth of people doing that. No, just 5 years. That's all we got everything prior to that. But I wonder, this is, I'm not a member of you guys. I'm just the hired gun sitting over at the side. So schedule a future or map of future land use, whatever that is. Might deserve a sit down, stare, and talk about it. You know, we did that.
Map amendment over on Second. So the electrical shock went from residential to,
A little adjustment.
yeah. But really, other than that, everything's pretty much the same as it was as far as land use.
Yeah. Well, we had that WashU study. You know, it might be worthwhile, honestly, it might be worthwhile for us to and that future land use map and the relevant stuff there and just compare the two and see, are we moving the direction that we intend? Are we moving slowly, efficiently? We basically, in my as an interested citizen, it's wonderful. We made wonderful strides towards making this place a fabulous place to live. All of my family wants to, all of my kids are intending to move here and are. But it's probably not a bad idea every 5 years is to at least keep that general focus of the direction we're trying to go and how we're trying to achieve our goals. Look and see what we're doing. The land use map promote that, or are we flying by the seat of our pants?
Because the WashU study did come in after the comprehensive plan. Yeah. And not only that, it also talked about the empty nester. Okay. That was a key focus on what they suggested we focus on was an empty nester, because that's where we had the most draw, and it's where we actually had the most people coming in, those who have their kids are moved or graduated and starting to move out. And people say, well, we don't want to just draw empty nesters. I said, that's true. But if you look at what you're putting in for empty nesters, they ain't far from the young homeowners.
Well, and if we read the report, what we learn is that there's a lot that comes. You focus on you have a focus group, but that group draws their families and everything else. But what that study said, I think, and it's been a while since I've looked at it, but what it said, I think, was we are best suited to draw empty nesters. That would be a focus group if we're trying to grow the city commercially, residentially, and otherwise. And then I forget all of them. All of the people that tail along behind your focus group, it causes the entire community to grow and flourish. But focus on that group that you are best suited to wait on it. I don't know, it seems to me that instead of just, picking up that 150-page comprehensive plan and start flipping through the research that we did, if we look at the future predictions and instructions and such, and just compare that with the WashU study, at least that would let us have an idea as to what we're doing anything to accomplish.
I think it was more on lines of residential instead of commercial, other than, where we brought Blair in. She was another one. They had 2 or 3 positions that they thought we needed. And she was a joint. So she was actually filling 2 of those positions. So that was more along the lines of the commercial as well as residential, but residential is, I think, more along the lines of what they studied with. But yeah, I mean, we can get copies of those.
Yeah, that would just be my suggestion.
What if we?
I can send those out to you as well.
Is it plans and objectives? That's what's the
Goals
goals
and
and objectives.
objectives.
Goals and objectives. Goals and objectives. That little section, future land use map. And then
They're included in what I sent you already.
that way we got the print out of it. That way we can act on it and explain.
And so print those out for the next meeting.
Yeah. Not the whole thing, just goals and objectives and then future land use map.
And what about the WashU? You'll be sending you
Well,
that one?
yeah, that's probably the best thing. And if there's a summary in it, because what I'm
There should be.
just to have it in the minutes that we can have that summary little package we can go through next month.
Sure.
And if there's a text that goes along with that future land use map, some explanation, if there's some discussion, some written discussion that goes along with
It
it,
should be.
include that also. That'll give us some context.
But like I said, it's already in the document I sent you, but we can print those out for you to have in here. Goals and objectives should be right in the front.
Right.
Land use map, future land use map is going to fold out. It should be listed.
And you and I may want to get together, run at it just to sort of highlight whatever it is that we see.
Anything else?
That's the only, just that one amendment's the only one that I can think of that we've had since then. Again, but WashU came after that. And it focused. Now the city has acquired some property that it hasn't had in the past that frees it up. May or may not free it up for future development, economic development. So. Okay.
Anything else you got, John?
It was the back to bed and breakfast and. As I go back and read the definition, if we read it generalized and leave out the specifics, which are 5 guest rooms, a short-term rental may have 1 to 5 guest rooms. Those short-term rental may have no rooms. It could be a single, just a 1 big room, but they're also not really guest rooms. It's the whole house. I'm just trying to make sure that. And what if there's 6 bedrooms in this?
That turns into a hotel.
But it's a short-term rental, so it's.
No.
But
Because I brought up the existing.
or if they just have beds in 6 rooms and they're not really bedrooms, they're just, they have.
You're moving into boutique hotel.
I think it can be less.
Want to make that right now, if it's over 5 rooms, But if you want it to be otherwise, it's just words. It's
But
easy.
no. Again, now define rooms to me in this house that I'm in. I am renting out my entire house. Are you counting my bedrooms? Are you counting how many guests I can have? Are you counting all of my rooms?
State of Kentucky. Eight bedroom.
Some of the 1800s, right?
Nice. It's spec builders who were saying 3 bedroom house and that turned out as 5 bedrooms. The bonus rooms. All. But then when they applied to the building inspector, they were 5 bedrooms. But they didn't want to spend all the money on the septic system.
I think there are very many 6 bedrooms. That's true. Any room with a closet.
And I told the doctor, I mean, the Culvers.
That is what I refer to as a boutique hotel. That is not. I can't. It's organic.
This would be nice.
No kidding. I don't know how many bedrooms are in that place, but it just strikes me as the size of it. I mean, the pool house is, I think, as big as my house. Closet.
Just, I mean, I'm nailing down these numbered things when you're renting out. It doesn't matter. I don't know that it matters. If you flip over a hotel, well, I guess hotel. If you flip over a hotel, then you're gonna have a schedule of use problems. You're gonna have problems.
Does
They're not gonna be
hotel
allowed.
have a definition by the state standard?
It does, but when I can't.
It was like, I think you said it was over 6
Well, no,
or something less.
that's what they were saying. I'd have to look. I've got some, I mean, I don't think, I think if you're renting daily or weekly, that falls under
It
Hotel.
eliminates.
I can look
the
that up and
residentials.
what it falls under public health.
Yeah. The definition of hotel doesn't alter that.
I forget we're in 2023, the 21st century, yes. Oh my gosh. I'm having trouble getting people through that too, yes. Myself included.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be open to the public. That's the big difference, is that you can just walk into.
Okay, bed and breakfast. Well, bed and breakfast you can walk into, but a
Right. But-
short-term rental you probably couldn't.
can't.
No. No. So that may be a big difference right there.
But if somebody comes in and wants a 6-bedroom short-term rental, they can't have it in a residential zone according to our. Six-bedroom houses.
Almost getting into a group home.
Only 5 rooms are. You're not gonna true bed and breakfast. 5 rooms. Rooms. Size of your house is really operating.
Does it say bedroom?
It says yes. Which is
What do
not,
you think that? Right, we think of it as a bedroom.
We think of it as a bedroom.
Of course, when you're renting a house, a 3-bedroom house, you've got all the rooms that go with it, except, incidental rooms that go with it, not just the bedrooms.
Can't see it being an issue right now, but what you're talking about here, but down the road.
Well, it's only an issue if you want to allow larger.
Is it an issue right
We're not-
now?
We're not talking about larger bedrooms.
See, bed and breakfast.
Wait, counselor. We got multiple counselors in here today.
Yeah, so right now the line has been drawn out. If you've got more than 5 guest rooms, it's a hotel. If you can't. It's a small category, not.
Cover the part about parking. Good on that part in there.
Oh, we're good. We gotta go. I'm not sure, I'm.
Probably need to send a
Get a conditional use. And what's holding you back is the fact that they stretched and stuck a bed in the back porch like I put my kids in a short-term rental. Or under the stairs, like we stuck your kids in.
London, I was looking at the VRBO, oh, it's $50. It was a storage building. It was just a storage building. It had no plumbing, nothing. Shower was under the deck. And
She's from medical school, and she said the bed and breakfast was above a furniture store. She said, I looked and was like, she told her husband, we're staying in a furniture store. Well, maybe you could go pick out whatever bed you want.
Oh,
Well, I guess, do I want to? I know there's adjustments that when some guy wants to come in with his 6, to put it next to the guy with the 5, they don't understand why his 6 is different than that guy's 5.
because we said
Welcome to my world, because the 5. Yeah,
We
you
said
do
so.
that. Yeah, you're going to try to keep the short-term rentals. Compatible, I think that's the word, just don't want to say compatible with residential. Because then you can't have a hotel. Would not be.
What'd you find?
in the in Kentucky, a hotel is defined as any building or structure kept, used, maintained, advertised, or held out to the public as a place where sleeping accommodations are provided to the public. This includes motels, tourist homes, and similar establishments. This includes boarding homes, rooming houses, and bed and breakfasts. And I think it's anything more than 5 bedrooms.
They just do. Vacation. Except they, yeah.
And don't
Unless the
understand.
vacation and breakfast obviously has
I said, don't ask me about my boarding house. I still don't understand that.
Wonderful line.
It's almost like a
or-
bed and breakfast, but I guess on a longer term, maybe.
Requires restriction of any home, facility, institution, lodging, or other establishment that accommodates 3 or more adults not related to the owner, operator, or manager by blood or marriage, and offers or advertises room and board on a 24-hour basis for hire and compensation. And I thought I found 2 or 3 of those. I call the stadium. Oh, that's not it. It's got this and this. No, it's different.
Yeah, if you're
Not
concerned,
worth losing your hair
there's a
over.
line. Call out.
But do you have to draw a line when a house is a house and that house was put there in that zone based on how many people it would accommodate? Not necessarily based on how many people, but based on how many families it accommodates. And so if Mark's home in the middle of nowhere happens to have 6 rooms in it, why are we not gonna let him short-term rental it? We're not talking about a 6-bedroom home in the middle of the Heights. We're talking about a 6-bedroom home that's out on in our big area, in our R1 zones with big lots and lots of room for parked cars. Not gonna park on the street. Why would we want to restrict them from having 6 guest rooms
For 60.
to some extent? And honestly, I don't think it's a big issue. But
Well, the Smith House,
the Smith House, I think I was just looking, I think the Smith House is actually in conservation area, so we can make it. To next time. If the person comes and wants to do a short-term rental of the Smith House, we can say it's an R1 or B1 zone. Or whatever we want to say. We can say we're running a boutique hotel and we're gonna call it a B2 or a B. Which is where some of our other, probably where some of our other big houses are stuck in conservation area. Residential.
I think. Limiting commercial uses of income. If I'm. Question. Small, as long as they're just little, as long as they're just little ones,
Small families.
not more than, not more than 5.
more than 5
rooms.
rooms.
Well,
Back to the, you have 5 bedrooms and you have 5 fast boats and rent for each of those fast boat drivers, then you've got a lot of coverage.
A lot of package.
Parkage.
but I think, Darren, what you're saying though, I mean, it really comes down to, it really depends on where that proposed rental unit is going to be. If it's in the Heights, that's not gonna work, you know? So that's the purpose of the conditional use. Whereas if it's out on West 10th Avenue, on my 7 acres, yeah, you wouldn't have a problem with it. Because you wouldn't disturb any neighbors. If there were 10 different family members. Before them, pretty much. But I still think there needs to be, feel like there ought to be some limit. And maybe 5's too low a number, but 10 seems high to me.
Well, we also don't want to make it where it's confusing when you see something like a hotel motel defined as 6 or more, then you wind up starting getting confused, getting language that is confused based on that as well. So be careful of that one. So that would be the only thing I would say there. It might take more language changes than just short-term rentals to actually fit that. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it, how you want to find it.
And I guess that's if they're determined to do a restaurant. 10 bedroom.
Does the fire marshal require any, thing for these?
Building
small-
codes does.
Huh?
Building codes does. And that is, it worked, the fire protection is worked into the building codes. So yeah, it would be under, if you change the use to that, you're gonna have to make sure that the bedrooms have certain criteria before you can. Of course, I think the modern building codes now, if you're building a new house, that those would meet that. You've got to have access, egress through a window. Each bedroom has to have a window, I think. Again, I'm speaking from memory. Greg has always warned me about this, so. But I think that, you know,
We get
that,
older, so.
yeah, you're right. As I get older, things get more fuzzy, you know. But I really think that, you know, it's a change in use from a residence to a business. And so therefore, the building codes would have to weigh in on that. And I think that's where your fire protection is also written in.
For like a fire, or the smoke detectors.
Well, again, even just having working windows in each bedroom.
Yeah.
I know that was a situation I think they got into with the group home that, our baseball gentleman, Tyler ran into with, I think down here at, Willie's place. He didn't have the working windows he needed. And so I think that the new one's got that issue. So I think he moved forward with that one. I think it's gonna be the same issue when you put in a hotel motel or a for rent.
The only thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is the only distinction.
But also, as we spoke earlier, you don't have that open area that you would have like in a hotel where you walk in like that, it's not really that way with the others. It's not as accessible. You can't just walk in. Well, I guess you can in some bed and breakfast. You just walk in and say, you have a room.
Trying to keep the cart behind the horse. The threshold question, I think, is, do we want to allow hotel commercial is in a residential area? I think that's the threshold question.
That is, if you're purely defining hotel motel versus short-term rental based on 5 versus 6.
No, it determine whether or not, yeah, so we think it doesn't matter. Hotels, motels don't matter. Okay. Then we approach the regulation one way. But if it seems that thus far what we have determined, is that it doesn't matter so long as it's nominal. But if it's nominal, it matters. That seems to be what has driven the legislation thus far. If proposal, got a different thought on it. Right now, that seems to be what has driven us to the current legislation. So if you're going to change the legislation.
In the state definition, I finally got it to pull up the right thing. I kept going to all bed and breakfast. We're sleeping, it's nothing about in the numbers. It's just as a place where sleeping accommodations are furnished to the public. Includes motels, tourist homes, and excludes boarding house and rooming home. Then you have two types of bed and breakfast. One is a one unit family dwelling, but which also has guest rooms or suites used or rented out. And then you have bed and breakfast. That's the home. That's 5 or fewer, and bed and breakfast inn means a private inn or other unique residential in the facility having 6 or more guest rooms or suites or there's anything that resides on the premises of property adjacent to it. None for the farmstead. Up to you.
Well, I mean, there's, well, I think about my house. My house right now has 4 bedrooms and an unfinished basement. If I were gonna do a VRB, I would real easily get 2 or 3 bedrooms, basement. And for my 4-bedroom house, we have 28 square, 100 square foot house, so it's, I mean, it's not like a house that's not the Smith place, but
No, and
you could bump heads on 5 pretty easily. Houses in Calvert City. There are probably several houses in Kingswood that, and if you were going to rent it out, you could arrange to get more than 5 bedrooms in.
Something else that you may have to be considering in the amount of bedrooms you have is the number of bathrooms you have. Then maybe your ratio. I don't know that.
Okay, so yeah, and John, I'm glad you, so let's go back to something that Joel said. And it doesn't affect us directly, but from the standpoint of the city, you mentioned that for a bed and breakfast, that there are building code requirements for the bedrooms and so forth. So who regulates that? In other words, so if a guy comes to you and says, I'm gonna start renting my house on VRBO, do we send them to ask the county to inspect that house? Or
What they're supposed to do is if the county, if you have a change in use of that structure, they're supposed to, especially if it's gone from a residential to a commercial or something like that, they're supposed to go through the building as well as us. We're supposed to go through the building inspection office because different things require different.
yeah, but I mean,
that would be a question that
I bet the guy coming in to us is not gonna know that.
unless VRBO and Airbnb point them to that,
Maybe,
which they very likely might.
right.
Things is, I could probably check with Casey and them and see about that, see what guidelines if there are. So
I'm just thinking, because I'm thinking even from us, even for Darren and them, it's issuing a conditional use. One of the questions may be is, do you have the county builders inspector's approval for your house to be a short-term rental? Because realistically, if that house burns down, that affects the neighbors.
And it gives the city a black eye. If we end up on CNN, a whole 3 generations of a family are
Yeah,
And you wouldn't be able to do it.
couldn't do that. I wouldn't have, until Joel raised that point, I would have, I'd have done, walked right in and threw up some petitions and said bedroom, out of closet, put a basket down there, it's rough in. Look out. Yeah. But yeah, my basement has no windows, so it wouldn't, I mean, but I wouldn't have.
Jones family wiped out
Yeah.
the basement. Didn't find the way out of the basement. There was no exit lights. I mean,
So
Making.
I guess it all goes back to, I think there should be a dividing line between what we define a bed and breakfast or short-term rental and what a hotel is. And I think that does come back down to quantity, but I don't know that five's the right number. That's just my thinking.
As you think about this, it's probably also. To remember. What it was just.
Well, yeah.
In your prayers.
That's, yeah.
Because this is Calvert City. And it's a friendly place. Sounds like telling you. It might be known as the town that tells people. Just because mine to it. So. Sure.
Me, period.
most of those times that we are having to maybe say yes, and everybody in the city wants us to know, that's what happened on the old Methodist church. That was gonna be a group home. Because we had some I got a lot of angry calls. I remember that, because that was Jerry.
Well, when you start thinking the difference between Mark's house and houses, you know, they're different neighborhoods. Different all that. All that is true.
Which is why the conditional use is a valid point.
That's right. That's why
But-
it comes back to me.
But because that number 5 is in there, then
It's not allowed.
yes.
Valid, but at some point it gives the, as you said, you got one person that came in and they live in one neighborhood. Different neighborhood. Now we're just. Three bedroom people say, no, wait just a minute, you just gave them time. Yeah, but the circumstances are different, yeah, but it doesn't feel that way to me. Boy, you guys are sitting here and I'm just people in the face.
Did they ever have a good time?
I'm just saying, yeah, philosophically, yeah, but it's a little different. Just saying, think about that, actually, wondering how do we approach the issue.
Now, what if we start having people who try to take like what I was talking about that I saw in London, just a storage building that they've converted over into a living space that they can rent out. Now, I'm guessing there is some regs here that would stop that, or is that a legal and a thing to do?
It's gotta be. Health department has to- You can't live in the camp. You can live in- Yeah. Several places out. Done this and.
As long as you said it's 10.
There is a, it's a.
I don't want to talk about that right here. Okay, I really don't want to bring that, hit that subject at this point, because it's not gonna be pretty when I open my mouth, and I'll just leave it alone. I'll tell you after the
Playing the
meeting,
devil's
because
advocate right there.
I'm gonna tell you something, it's gonna be ugly when I open up.
I think that's the time.
People moving into garages is not a pretty subject for me.
But it's, uh, it's not.
It's happening, it sure is.
When I grew up, there's two families living in a storage. Well, I call it, it's a storage, building. It's just like the Cal 95 solar storage buildings. And they're living. It's then. So, and the tiny home thing
Yeah,
is
but-
becoming a, what did I just see somebody the other day? Oh, wow. This is all record. Had a tiny home set in his backyard. It was a storage, it looked nice inside, it made it nice, but it was a storage building.
We just had to kick a tiny home storage building out of a mobile home park.
So we ruled on that some time back, and if it's got a permanent foundation and is built by building codes, then it meets a house. If it's on a trailer frame, it's an RV. And it's handled, and you handle them just like that. They can go in, the ones that are mobile can go into mobile home parks or campgrounds, but they can't be lived in on a residential area. That has to be built just like a stick house.
So with mobile home parks, we don't allow tiny homes.
Do you not?
So I just had to go through them. That's a permanent, that's a structure that is not a mobile home. It's gotta be.
You talking about one that's stick on a frame, on a
No,
trailer?
no. I'm talking,
Or one's on a permanent foundation?
they were doing it on, cinder block foundation.
Okay, that's permanent foundation.
Yeah.
Are you talking about on?
But in mobile home parks, with the state of Kentucky, that is not a mobile
I'm
home.
not arguing, I'm just saying, yeah. If it had, you're not talking about a continuous foundation, you're just talking about piers or continuous foundation.
Piers.
Oh, well, that mobile homes are set on piers.
But that, with us, that is not.
Okay, I'm not going.
If you'd seen where I was at, you'd understand why we're like,
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. It doesn't matter how good you make the rules and regulations, someone's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to.
Exactly right. You know, so now we'll talk about the other side of the line. If you're renting your house, and we say 5 bedrooms is all you can have. Just rooms. Guest room. That's still a pretty good quantity of folks in that. So, you know, maybe that number is not a bad number.
because what if they take a couple of the rooms and put like 4 bunk beds in each?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can put a lot of people in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can set it up. With only.
So then that comes back down, to how many people do you want to put on your neighbor's lot, you know, so
Maybe it's not, isn't it?
maybe 5 is enough.
Lose sight of, you said it or whatever. All you're doing is setting an outside boundary.
Yes.
You're saying right here is where we're going from. VRBOs to something more commercial. VRBOs are not so commercial, they're more like bringing your house to somebody.
Yeah. But that would also preclude them from having to run on. You can't. put them. So you can bring it to 5 guest rooms. That's like. Still not. Will be there. You can put a bunch of people in something.
Certainly. you're going, I can see that being part of the discussion.
No, just asking her. What happens if they go through the Board of Adjustments and it's, oh yeah, it's gonna be 4 bedrooms with 4 beds, and then after they get it all approved, turns out that they make 2 of those 4 rooms and move. 4 with beds in each
They're in
one,
violation of-
but then, but how do you ever find out? Or is it,
Fine, that's-
Bruce sits and sprays them up on Weathersby or any City.
Someone says something, someone turns them in. And then you go-
One
then you go
one man or two.
well, that's.
Well,
It's one structure.
Here it is, once a year, here on a conditional use, we go in, or we go and inspect, to make sure the use is still being done like it's supposed to be. And with Bruce here, he now has an opportunity, we have an opportunity to actually get that done.
And I just didn't know if it was like, once you go through the process, and then it becomes a lot harder to ever find out, like, oh, look, I just saw that it holds 18 and it's only approved for 8.
So what do you think? We want to chew on this another month? Before we,
I'm not ready for
public hearing.
So you'll be hold off on the public hearing now?
Okay, let's talk about it. Next month.
Very good.
Anything else?
Nothing else.
Motion.
So
Second.